Justin Jones will be your leadoff man here as we enter your 5th inning of play in varsity baseball action between the Riverdale Raiders and the Cypress Lake Panthers. So Jones steps up for the Panthers as Kyle Adorno is back on the mound for Riverdale in his 2nd inning of hurling. Releases the first pitch. It goes wild straight to the backstop. Your score is 5-3, Cypress Lake with the advantage. This is a short popper to the third baseman, Hunter Tinsley. No problem, he puts in the back of his glove for the F5 in the scorebooks. And that's out number 1 here to begin the 5th inning.
Next batter for Cypress Lake.
The following batter is Robert
Number 9.
Wiegelnick.
Robert Wiegelnick.
Wiegelnick's opening pitch comes to the corners, and that's a ball 1. Well, senior night here at Pringle Field. Always plenty of festivities, but what's a really fascinating feature, this one comes very close to Wiegelnick. He had to get down. He ducked as that pitch was coming towards his helmet, and it goes to the backstop. You see Adorno on the mound, starting to throw a little out of control, just needs to calm down and keep finding those strikes. Wiegelnick now has a 2-0 count. Well, what's interesting is around the batter's box in the grass area, there are 5 numbers tonight spray painted around the batter's box. And those numbers are the seniors' numbers of tonight's game for Riverdale. For instance, there's number 10 down there. Number 10 is Riverdale senior Colton Seitz. And this is a ball 4 coming into Wiegelnick as he digs in the first.
Carter Popple.
Popple comes up from the on-deck circle. And now there's a discussion on the mound between catcher Tyler Prell and the pitcher
We've still got lots of action next week.
Kyle Adorno. They have a quick talk.
JV and varsity teams will be playing.
And Popple gets a few practice swings to himself in the batter's box.
JV first pitch goes out at 4 o'clock. Varsity at 7.
And very interesting fact, we just had the public address announcement about it. It may be our last home game here at Pringle Field for the 2016 regular season schedule, but there's still plenty of action to go around. After tonight's ball game, there will be 3 more contests remaining in the regular season, and this is going to be batted in a line drive straight. The shallow center base hit going to Carter Popple. That'll now put 2 men on the bases for Cypress Lake, and Austin Heyman will try to do whatever he can to kill the momentum of the Riverdale Raiders. Cypress Lake, they scored 5 runs at the top half of the first, and it looked like they were going to really be in control of this game all throughout. But the Raiders got more comfortable. They realized what type of team they're playing against, and they started to come together. They now have 3 unanswered on the board. Riverdale, that is. So let's see if they can keep the energy going. Well, we'll tell you more about our 2016 schedule, the remainder of it at least. This is a wild pitch. Prell barely gets the tip of the glove on it. Throw to third will not beat out the runner. Popple will run over to second, so 2 in scoring territory for Cypress Lake. Well, the Raiders will get back to action for their next game on April 11th when they travel to historic Terry Park in downtown Fort Myers to play against the Ida Baker Bulldogs. This will be Game 1 of the annual Battle of the Border tournament. The tournament consists of 3 matchups for the Raiders as they will play Game 2 of the 12th, as well as Contest 3 on April 14th.
Number 3, Josh Ashby.
Josh Ashby will take over as the second base runner for Popple. The school playing against Riverdale in games 2 and 3 are to be determined as of right now. Be sure to come out and support your Raiders as they wrap up the regular season of 2016. Here's another one. Almost crazy to the backstop, but Prell is able to block it away. Count 2-0. Here to the batter, Austin Heyman. And now there's going to be a timeout called. Hayward is going to march his way down the third base side where he talks to the Cypress Lake manager, Rick Little, who is standing over behind the third base bag as the third base coach. Meanwhile, Prell is going to go up to Adorno again, talk through some signs. And after the Battle of the Border is all said and done, Riverdale will be leaping right into their district playoff event on the 18th when they travel to Palmetto Ridge to take on the Bears. All 3 ball games in the Battle of the Border tournament will begin at 7 p.m. And now there's going to be an infield meeting here. Coach Bobby Pringle for the Raiders is going to come out and they're going to have a conversation. It's going to be him and the pitcher Kyle Adorno. The infield started to come in, but Coach Pringle decided that it's just going to be between him and the pitcher.
Following Monday, the 18th. Yes.
So they're going to have a quick conversation.
Your Raiders will be traveling to
And it looks like Kyle Adorno is actually done for the night. I didn't see it coming, but Kyle Adorno has been yanked from the mound by Coach Pringle, and we are going to have a new pitcher on the mound for Riverdale. At first I thought it was just him and Adorno having a conversation, but it turns out there will be a new pitcher. We will reveal who it is on the Riverdale Baseball Broadcast Network right after this. 5-3 is your score. Cypress Lake on top. We continue with varsity baseball action at Pringle Field at Riverdale High School. Your score is 5-3. Cypress Lake in the lead over the Riverdale Raiders. New pitcher on the mound for Riverdale is going to be Trent Clark, number 13, throwing off of the right hand. Here's a ball getting in here to Austin Heyman. His count now advances to 3-0. Previously, before our commercial break, Kyle Adorno was the pitcher, but the Riverdale manager Bob Pringle came out, said, "Your day is done," and up comes Clark to the mound. And he gives Heyman his first strike of this at-bat. Right now you have Cypress Lake runners on second and third. Raiders have worked so hard to do whatever they can to decrease this deficit. It started 5-0 in advantage of Cypress Lake. They scored 3 unanswered. Bouncer, the third throw home is going to be in time to Tyler Prell as he tags out the base runner, number 9, Robert Wiggleneck, for out number 2. So that relieves some stress for the Raiders. But the runner on second advances over to base number 3.
For the Panthers, number 6,
now batting, it's Jalen Soto. Runners now around the corners here for Cypress Lake, as there's another conversation on the mound between Prell and the new pitcher, Trent Clark. Prell, he's just getting a workout going between home plate and the pitcher's mound. He's been back and forth all night long.
10,000 steps.
Yeah, he's getting 10,000 steps in. Nice walking exercise for him. But yeah, he's been communicating all night long between the Riverdale 3 pitchers they've had in the game thus far. Tyler Yeager, Kyle Adorno, and now Trent Clark. As he goes head-to-head against the upcoming batter, Soto. There are 2 outs, 2 on for Cypress Lake. Bouncer up the middle. It's going to be Brendan McNabb snagging it up at second. Taps on the second base bag to retire the sides. And the Raiders are still down 3-5. But they hope to add some more runs to the board when we come back with your home half of the 5th on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network.
Raiders, it's number 10, Colton Seitz.
Colton Seitz is your opening batter here at the bottom half of the 5th. where the Cypress Lake Panthers currently lead over the Riverdale Raiders by a 5-3 score. Seitz steps up to the plate. Ball one. Great senior night at Riverdale High School. It's just been a tense, big contest here between these two teams. At the top of the first, Cypress Lake went straight to work, brought 5 runners across home plate to score. And eventually, Riverdale's able to score 3 unanswered themselves. It's the bottom of the 5th. We're getting into the later portions of this ball game, but still plenty of ball to be played here. Count now 1-1. Third pitch, that is crazy outside. Seitz having to duck to avoid being hit from that one. Count now 2-1. Justin Jones up on the mound. Inning number 2 of his pitching appearance on the night. Seitz bats it down the middle. That went right off the thin end of the bat to the pitcher Justin Jones, who releases the first base for the 1-3 putout. Well, that was just an unfortunate event there for Colton Seitz. Nothing he could do about it. Took a nice swing at a pitch hanging right over the strike plate, and he clipped it right off the thin end of the bat.
Tyler Gertman.
And Tyler Gertman steps up for his second at-bat of this competition. Signaling for a bunt early. Runner from third base chugging. He fakes it and he bolts it right down the left field line. That was perfectly executed, folks. And that's what you have to admire about the Riverdale baseball team. They are so sneaky. Over the past year of calling games for them here on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network, I have seen some really sneaky stuff, especially when it comes to runners on the base paths.
Hardy.
So Matt Hardy comes up with that base runner on first. Well, what happened there is, once again, Gertman signaled for a bunt. And right away, you saw the third baseman for Cypress Lake, Robert Wiggleneck, come chugging down the left field line, trying to scoop up the grounder off the bunt. Once the pitch was released by Justin Jones anyhow, Gertman held back, took a swing, drilled it down the left field line for a base knock. That is great stuff right there. Wiggleneck fell right into the trap, as this pitch is going straight to the backstop over the head of the Cypress Lake catcher Jalen Soto. And Gertman now stretches over the second. Count now 2-0 here to Hardy. This one's low. Well, this has been an entertaining ball game, folks. I mean, these are two teams that want the win bad, and this pitch will not reach the strike plate. Matt Hardy gets the 4-pitch walk as he jogs his way to first base. And what's going on here? Looks like a little bit of a shift here on the outfield for Cypress Lake. I'm still trying to understand what's going on. Players are running all around. There's a timeout called. Brendan McNabb walking back to the dugout as he was trying to retrieve something off the field near home plate. It was pretty interesting. I just saw players switching out for each other. I saw some players running to the dugout, some running out of the dugout. And there's a new pitcher on the mound for Cypress Lake, so that is the situation here. And we will tell you all about it after this break. Your score is 5-3. Cypress Lake in the lead. We are at the bottom of the 5th. More Raider baseball after this. We are back with more action at the home half of the 5th as Cypress Lake is up over the Riverdale Raiders by a 5-3 score. New pitcher on the mound for Cypress Lake is Ryan Stewart. He is the 3rd hurler on the mound for the Panthers here in tonight's ball game. Carson Palmquist is going to be the pinch hitter here for the Raiders. Takes a chop and a miss for strike one. Nails it down left field foul for strike two. Runners on second and first here for Riverdale. One out, so they have a little bit of room to work with here, but Palmquist is in his first at-bat of this ball game, so let's hope he can start off his night with a bang. Ball one drilled in. One, two, that's up in the corners. Here's a throw over the second. Dangerous throw. But that runner is back in time. That was dangerous over there on second base. As the catcher, Jalen Soto, leaped up after the pitch. Yanked it right over the second where that runner was, but he was a bit too far off. He's able to slide back in time anyhow. And that's Tyler Gertman over on bag number two. Count now updated to 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Palmquist. Pitcher Stewart releases, and that's chopped back towards the press box. Looks like some of the seats have emptied out in the Raider fan section. It's not as full as it once was earlier on in this contest. And that is very true. It could be the parents maybe getting stuff together after tonight's ball game. Another great thing about senior night is they have some snacks after the game. Another great way to celebrate senior night as we now have a full count for Carson Palmquist. His payoff is on the way. Swung foul. Right in front of the press box once again. But yeah, that just may be the case. Some of the parents getting the stuff ready for after the game. It's always nice. Post-game snacks. Can't complain with that at all, folks. Palmquist in a battle at home plate. 2 on, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. Doesn't get better than this. It's a popper down left field, and that's going to go out of the playing field. Palmquist lucked out that time. Bottom of the 5th, this game has significantly slowed down, but it's been an entertaining one ever since the first pitch, so I can't complain at all. These are 2 talented teams giving it their all. 3-2 to Palmquist. Forwards out the left center field. It gets down. Here comes the runner, Tyler Gertman, chugging around third to score. 1 runner scores. Matt Hardy's going to be held up at third. That is an RBI double for Carson Palmquist. It is 5-4. Cypress Lake. Raiders have never been closer than before to tying this ball game. Carson Palmquist with a stellar hit out the left center.
Batting next for your Raiders, number 6, Brendan McNabb.
Brendan McNabb will be your next batter. Well, that was out the left center field. He just bolted that ball to the outfield. Carson Palmquist got down past the diving glove of the left fielder Jared Batiz, and it trailed its way all the way to the wall. To score in 1 run, which was Tyler Gertman, coming across home plate all the way from second base. Brendan McNabb starts his new at-bat with a strike 1. Ryan Stewart, the pitcher on the mound for Cypress Lake, he's got to be feeling the pressure. Now it's bolted down first, and that is foul. That would have tied up this ball game. Maybe even given them the lead most likely, but it was a few inches far to the right side of the first base line. McNabb now 0-2. Infield playing in. The pitch, swing and a miss for out number 2. So that helps out the Cypress Lake defense, calms things down. for the infield and Ryan Stewart on the mound, but it's not done yet.
Next batter for your Raiders, number 8, Matisse Bober.
And you hear it, Matisse Bober grabs the bat, heads to the plate, and ignores ball 1. Jalen Soto, the catcher, going up to the pitcher's mound to reassess the situation with Ryan Stewart, talking it out with him, probably just telling him to calm down, throw some strikes, but also be mindful of where you're throwing. Because these Raider batters, they're doing a great job with the connection tonight. These guys know, almost everyone on the lineup for Riverdale tonight, they know how to bring it to the outfield. Ball 2 given to Bober. Palmquist on second. Hardy on third. Out the right center field, and that is going to be gloved up by the Cypress Lake center fielder Justin Jones. Raiders still down, but they add another run on the board, and they are down 5-4 to Cypress Lake. More baseball to come after this very short intermission. We begin the 6th inning of play with pinch hitter for Cypress Lake, Austin Davis, coming to the plate as your score is 5-3, Cypress Lake on top of the Raiders. New pitcher on the mound for Riverdale is Colin Acevedo. We have a breeze coming through the press box, and it's blowing some of our papers around. That's a little rude. Very nasty curveball getting inside there, and it's an 0-2 start for Austin Davis at the plate in his opening at-bat of the ball game. Colin Acevedo, that's what he's known for, a very nice curveball. He releases it off of the right hand. Next one on the way, barely out. Well, we are in your second to last inning of play. Raiders have made this game tighter than ever as they scored a run home at the bottom half of the fifth. Swing and a miss. And that retires Austin Davis with a swinging strikeout.
Next batter for the Panthers, number 5, Jared Batiste.
Jared Batiste will continue the inning as he comes up to the plate. Colin Acevedo steps, rocks it home. Strike 1. Colin Acevedo, originally in this ball game, was a center fielder. Now in center field, it's Carson Palmquist. 0-1 to the sides, ties up the count at 1 apiece. Swing and a miss. That's another great thing about Acevedo on the mound. He really throws, it's once again the curveballs he's throwing out there very early on as well. Very wacky looking pitches, for lack of a better term. And there are plenty of high school varsity baseball players that find those challenging to hit. They are a little different. And that time you saw Jared Batiste just really chase that one. There's another pitch to the opposite end. He swings and misses. There's another punch out for Colin Acevedo. 2 up, 2 down for the Raiders here at the top of the 6th.
Next batter for Cypress Lake is number 4, Ryan Stewart.
It's going to be Ryan Stewart, the upcoming batter at the plate.
We're 2 hours in.
We are now 2 hours into your ball game. A little over 2 hours, to be exact. As your time is now 9:03 here at Riverdale High School. This pitch is wide for a ball 1. Once again, this is Ryan Stewart at the plate. This is offsides, count 2-0. It certainly is a different pace game from last night where the Raiders came to the field, dominated, and they came right out. Strike one. Once again, last night, Riverdale defeated Kentucky Trinity by a 10-0 final score. That was a game that had a mercy rule placed at the bottom half of the fifth. Ooh, that came very close, and that put Ryan Stewart out of balance there as he nearly fell over himself in the left hand of the batter's box. His count advances to 3-1 as that pitch was considered a ball. Azevedo, once again, first inning of hurling on the mound. 2 up, 2 down, looking for out number 3, but he won't get it here. That's a base on balls for Ryan Stewart. And the big hitter tonight, number 25, Chan Mikel Bastardo,
Batting for the Panthers, number
will now
25,
approach the batter's box.
Chan Mikel Bastardo. Watch this guy.
Azevedo hangs the right arm low. Sets. Getting a signal from Prell. Throws to first. It comes close, but it's not in time. That was very close. Ryan Stewart was over on first base, and he was psyched out by the check from Colin Azevedo on the mound. Yeah, I thought the Raider defense threw off Stewart there and picked him off as well, but that's not the case. Joel Velez on first was pretty confident as well. Here's another check over to him as this is called a ball 2. Ball 1, rather. Bastardo now really adding a crouch to his at-bat stance. And with every at-bat, it seems as if he just crouches down further and further, trying to make that strike plate just a little bit smaller. Another check over to Stewart over on first. It's not going to work out anyhow. 1-0 deal, and there's your ball 2. We are here on senior night in a very fascinating ball game. If you are a baseball enthusiast, well, this has been a game to watch. This is what I would call a battle of two heavyweights. For both teams, it seems like the offense has really taken control, and they've just been taking advantage of each other all night long. Now a 3-0 count to Bastardo. Inside. And in last night's game against Kentucky Trinity, RHS picked up 4 runs in the second and 6 runs at the home half of the 6 to secure the victory. Or the 5th inning, rather. Excuse me. Check back to first for Davis, and the Raiders still are not going to get the call that they want. Stewart's taking a nice leadoff over on first base, so you could see why the Raiders are interested in him over there, but they haven't been able to pick him off. Anyhow, they have came very close. Bastardo's 3-1 is on the way. Runner trying to take off. It's over the diving glove of the third baseman, Hunter Tinsley. Bastardo is off to the races, chugging the second base, and that's a double as Ryan Stewart is stopped on the third base bag. 2 runners in scoring position now for Cypress Lake. Very familiar position here for the Raider defense. The good news is that they have 2 outs here at the home half, or top half of the 6. Cypress Lake up by 1 run.
There's a break in the action, fans.
And there's a break in the action as Pro will come up to the mound to talk with Colin Azevedo. And I will tell you this, the pitchers all night, they have been going through pitchers like money. Colin Azevedo on the mound. He is the fourth pitcher of the ball game for Riverdale. It started with Tyler Yeager in the first. Kyle Adorno soon took over. Not too later in the ball game, Trent Clark came in, and now it's Colin Azevedo. Next batter is going to be Justin Jones, number 18. Starts with a 1-0 count. Azevedo, he's in a struggle on the mound, trying to dodge a bully here. Bouncer, Brendan McNabb grabs it at second, throws the first to Joel Velez, and they beat the runner, Jones, by about a step. Bottom of the sixth we now approach in this ball game. Cypress Lake is up 5-4.
For your Raiders, it's number 1, Tyler Yeager.
Tyler Yeager is the opening batter of the home half of the sixth, as the Raiders are down by one run. Your score is 5-4. Catcher scoops up this bouncing ball, throws the first for the 2-3 put out, and Tyler Prell quickly moves on out to the field.
Batting next for your Raiders, number 7, Tyler Prell.
Raiders trying to pick up some late season victories here and move their way up on the standings before they head to their district playoff game against Palmetto Ridge, a game that's taking place at the Palmetto Ridge Bears once again on April 18th. That's a Monday evening. 7 p.m. will be the first pitch start time for that one. This is off to the corners, ball 1. Count now 1-1 for Prell. Riverdale comes into this contest with a 10-win, 10-loss record. Bouncer down third, and that's going to be foul. That time the Cypress Lake third baseman, Robert Wiegelnick, scooped up that ball. Almost was about to make the throw over the first, but it was listed foul by the official. And Pro makes his way back in to the left hand of the batter's box. It's now time to take a look at your Class 7A District 12 standings. Swing and a miss, 1-2. That one may have went off the tip of the bat there for Prell, foul. Well, the Naples Golden Eagles, it's been this way for most, if not all, of the season. Naples, they've always sat at the top of the standings. They currently have a 17-win, 4-loss record as of right now. Count 2-2 to Prell. The 14-5 Gulf Coast Sharks sit underneath them. Third are the Estero Wildcats, who are 13-7. Prell now has a full count with a pitch low at the knees. Palmetto Ridge is fourth with an 11-8 record. Riverdale is fifth, 10-10 is their record. 6 is the Lehigh Lightning. They are 8-10. This is way out the left field. Prell really gave that ball a ride out the left, but it's gloved for an F7 in the scorebooks. And Tinsley hopes to keep things going.
Batting next for your Raiders, number 4, Hunter Tinsley.
To finish off your Class 7A District 12 standings, 7th are the South Fort Myers Wolfpack, who are 4-16, and the 2-17 East Lee County Jaguars are 8th. It's got to be a rough season for East Lee County and South Fort Myers. It's got to be frustrating, just struggling to pick up wins throughout the season. Tinsley begins his current at-bat with a strike and a ball. And at first, it seems like that is what the Raiders were doing at the beginning of the year. They were taking it game by game, but they were struggling at the plate, giving up runs to other teams, and wins just didn't come to them as easily. But once we got towards the middle portion of the season, team really got to come together, really confident. And they've been able to pick up some wins as they are now 10-10 coming into this ball game. Here's an intentional walk to Hunter Tinsley. He now walks to first base.
Here comes your next Raider batter, number 10.
And it's Colton Seitz up next.
Seitz.
Tinsley on first with 2 outs at the bottom of the 6th. Cypress Lake up 5-4. Throw over the first. Tinsley dives in time. This is low and away. And now there's going to be brief meeting here with the Cypress Lake pitcher Ryan Stewart, with the catcher Jalen Soto, and the first baseman Austin Heyman is going to get in on the conversation as well, but that is going to quickly subside. Seitz gets back in the box. Here's his 1-0. Swinging for the fences, but he's too late. 1-1. Tinsley on first, jumping around an awful lot. This is out to left field, and moving forward and making the catch out in left field for Cypress Lake was Jared Batiste. 6 complete here at Pringle Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. 5-4 is what the scoreboard reads. Cypress Lake is in the lead. Final inning we go after this.
Robert Wiggleneck.
Robert Whittleneck will be the upcoming batter, the first batter as we head into the 7th inning of play. Cypress Lake leads 5-4 over Riverdale. Tyler Yeager scoops the bouncer at the shortstop position, fires across to Velez at first for the 6-3 putout on Wiggleneck. Tate McMenemy will be a pinch hitter.
Panthers, number 7, Tate McMenemy.
That's one of those names you really just have to say slowly. It's easy to get twisted up with it. It's a tongue twister. Tate McMenemy. McMenemy stands in, tries to bump for the first pitch, holds back. 1-0. Well, you can really see the field right now, how it looks. You could tell battle is being done on this field. Batter's box right now is faded. And of course, that's typically how it is once a game goes on for a while, but you know, it's just been one heck of a ball game. Lots of amazing plays, just like this one. Colin Azevedo treks down this bunt down the first base side, chucks it over to Joel Velez on first to retire McMenemy.
Next batter for Cypress Lake, number 17, Austin Heyman.
Austin Heyman shows up out on the field. You can also see the first and third base lines. It really is faded. But fans staying along for this ball game. Still a nice crowd, both the Raider fan section and the fan section for Cypress Lake. Ball 1 here for Heyman. followed up by a strike one. Raiders getting down to precious time here. All throughout the ball game, they've slowly been creeping back. You remember Cypress Lake scored 5 runs at the top half of the first, and slowly they have been adding runs on the board. Raiders now have 4 unanswered, but if they want to at least tie up this ball game, they'll have to do so at the bottom of the 7th. If not, this contest is over. Let's focus on right now. It's a strikeout on Heyman as he watches the strike 3 go by him. Bottom of the 7th we go. Raiders have 3 outs to at least tie it up. We'll see how it goes after this.
Tyler Goodman!
Well, it is cracking time here for Riverdale High School as we head to the home half of the 7th. Tyler Gertman is a leadoff batter. Raiders down by 1, and this ball is going to run out of real estate down the first base side as it is foul. So Raiders down by 1 once again, hoping to at least tie it up. That's the goal at this point, is to just get that tying runner across. It won't be easy anyhow. That comes close to Gertman, just inches off of his left arm there. That ties the count. Well, the Raiders certainly want to come away with a win here on senior night, because a win on senior night, that just makes the occasion even sweeter, a lot happier, that's for sure.
It's like winning a football homecoming game.
It's like winning a football homecoming game, yes, just like it, for a matter of fact. Bouncer to the shortstop, going across the first, and there's your out. Gertman is eliminated off a 6-3 putout. There's still hope anyhow. Up comes Colin Azevedo.
Your next Raider batter, number 3, Colin Azevedo.
Here's Vito, what they like to call him. Pitch low. Raider teammates on the dugout down the first base line trying to encourage him. Count starts 1-0, swing and a miss. Carson Palmquist is on the on-deck circle, warming up for the Raiders. His pitch hits the dirt, 2-1 now on Colin Azevedo. I mean, this certainly is a very important game to win. 3-1 now is the count as the pitch comes low. This very well could be the final home game at these seniors play, so you definitely want to finish the home schedule on a high note. There's your walk for Colin Azevedo as he ducks out of the way of another pitch. Up comes Carson Palmquist.
Batting next for your Raiders in the bottom of the 7th inning, number 14, Carson Palmquist.
Palmquist is in his second at-bat of this contest. He's came up clutch previously in this ball game, scoring an RBI double. Throw over the first, Azevedo is back in time. One out at the home half of the 7th, 5-4. Raiders down. If they can't at least tie it up by the end of the 7th, and this ball game is over. As always, high school baseball here in the state of Florida goes for 7 regulation innings instead of 9 like they do in the professional baseball leagues. 0-1, high and dry. Getting to around 2 hours and a half of tonight's ball game, so although this game might not last 9 innings, don't want to jinx anything there, It certainly has the length of a 9-inning ball game. Now, if this game does get tied, we could go to extras. Count 2-1 now to Palmquist. One thing you have to admire about Palmquist, he's a very patient batter, very good eye. Takes a strike, low and in. 1 on and 1 out here for the Raider bats. Bounced up the middle. This could be a double play. Throw to second for 1, first for 2. It's not in time. 2 outs now, and the Raiders are hanging by a thread. They only get the 1 out over at second base. And up comes Brendan McNabb, hoping that this game does not end
Number 6.
just yet.
Brendan McNabb.
Well, it's do or die from here on out for the Raiders. Palmquist over on first. Chopped foul down left field. And a tapper. Matisse Bober is now on the on-deck circle in front of the Raider dugout. Brendan McNabb stands in. On the mound for Cypress Lake, you still have Ryan Stewart hoping to get the close. Popper out the left field. It's gloved up by the left fielder Jared Batiz, and that's going to do it for today's ball game. That's going to do it for senior night. It's very disappointing that the Raiders couldn't get the win here on the senior night, but let's hope that the festivities are made positive after the game. But still, this is a game that the Raiders fought hard for, and you really do have to give them credit. You remember at the top half of the first, Cypress Lake scored 5 runs across right at the beginning of the ball game. But then throughout the contest, the Raiders slowly started to come back. They scored 4 unanswered, but then were not able to get that tying run, which was Carson Palmquist. He's stranded over on first to end the ball game. And at the end of 7 innings, your final score is 5-4. Cypress Lake defeats the Riverdale Raiders at Pringle Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida. Overall, it seems like a pretty friendly competition. During the handshakes, we've had the Riverdale and Cypress Lake players getting some good-hearted conversation over there, messing around with each other. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's game. It's been a good one as we come to a close at 9:31 p.m. at Pringle Field. Well, this does it for the 2016 home schedule, and it's very well could be the last time that we have a Raider baseball broadcast here for the 2016 year. That depends on if the Raiders win their postseason game against Palmetto Ridge on April 18th. But the only thing we can do is sit and wait for that. But in case if this is our final home game and broadcast, I just want to say thank you all so much for supporting the Raider broadcast once again throughout 2016. It's been a very fun ride. I've had a great time watching this team play, and very hopefully we will be back up here in the booth for the playoffs, giving you some more play-by-play right here on the Raider Baseball Broadcast Network. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. That does it for tonight's game. Raiders drop down to a 10-11 record. With this loss, 5-4, Cypress Lake beats Riverdale one last time. Thank you for tuning in. Raiders will be going to Battle of the Border on April 11th against the Ida Baker Bulldogs, 7 p.m. first pitch start time. Be sure to come out, support your Raiders at Terry Park. But for now, that's going to do it. I'm Nick Rush on the Raider Baseball Broadcast Network saying thank you for tuning in, and good night.